All right. Another one of their games is a nail trimming simulation. You trim the claws.
Yeah.
That's the only purpose of it. But so grooming and stuff is like part of their games too.
Yeah, the nail trimming game is clearly about that. You don't like cut the blood vessel in the nail. You have to see through it at different positions.
What? How are you going to fit all that in there?
I made you a little one, depending on when Thomas gets back. He's helping his mother pack. Satan is very strong in Americas, that I noticed. Whoa.
I gotta go put this in my printer.
I'm gonna go in really quick. There's a huge amount of mosquitoes here.
Did you talk?
A little, but there's nothing worthwhile on it. You can upload it too if you want. I would upload it too. There were interesting background conversations.
I'm recording. He told me a little story. There was a farmer that needed some seeds or something to grow his crop, and that needed new seeds or something for, but he had to convince the people to give him seeds because the gift of something small is kind of, you have to earn it. And they don't usually give big things, but he was unable to convince them to give him some seeds. That was kind of it.
Interesting. It's interesting that Master chose this time to crash just as I'm about to give the order to transfer it towards the, I would even call it the peaceful type of society. That's the moment that Master decides to crash. I consider that interesting. It's like somebody wants me to appear evil instead of good. That's interesting. Don't break, little stick. I know you're a little one, but I don't want you to break. Just using you to clean my barn, nothing else. There we go, that was pleasant. This is the last of my weed. Then I run out. Then I will probably use tobacco and hemp lucid oil. And then we will probably, hoping we get the money tomorrow, be able to purchase more so I don't run out for my entire time here, which has been wonderful. It has been marvelous for me not to run out while I'm like steadily at a single location. One little strand of the tree fell into the weed, but I picked it up. That's all I noticed anyway. There's an entity that is desirous of pain around us at the moment, and I feel like it's sufficient for me to say that if you want to experience like a really good headache, smoke weed through taurine in the bong. Taurine.
You don't like taurine very much, do you?
No.
Even though foxes like need it.
Yeah.
And cats. They need it to survive.
There are two mosquitoes stuck to each other flying here. They're breeding.
If you got a job in Finland, would you make around 30,000 a year or more?
Probably quite a bit less. I'd probably make 15, 25 at most. I would be making at most like $15 an hour. That would be like, graciously speaking, the most I would do. Why do you ask?
No, if I hired you as I was thinking if I hired you to do video games consultation, I'd pay you probably 30,000 a year.
That would be a huge bundle for me, especially if I could do it mostly online from Finland.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I thought you had to come here or get a visa and stuff, but I was like, you'd be able to work from home, but you could do it from there.
Yeah, and I could visit you occasionally. Like if you do get a company started, that would be awesome for me. I do have an IT degree in game testing and game development.
Oh, yeah.
So I do have expertise in the field, but it's low-level IT degree. It's not like university level. It's like a vocational school IT diploma. It's fairly good. It took me 2 years to study.
Well, if you can help me develop these ideas I've already told you,
yeah,
with your Shakiak Insight.
Yeah, we've been doing that a lot, and I don't see any objection to it.
I could pay you a little bit later when it gets closer to the once I have the demo and I need to actually develop the game.
Yeah, once I can accept money once it gets kosher from my state to accept money, because they don't allow me to accept money while on Social Security. They immediately remove the Social Security money.
Yeah.
So if I make any amount of money, they're just going to reduce it from the Social Security. It's not a good system. But if I do get like a permanent job, I can consult you and get like a little extra income.
Yeah.
That would be nice. Or if you hire me permanently. I'm gonna finish my college degree and maybe apply for a US university, something big, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Finnish university seemed very primitive to me when I attended it. It seemed like a place I don't want to be at. It would be so much better if we could be on our like back, or at least very strongly lean backwards when we're in a computer chair. It's very harmful that we consistently sit. It's, you know, bad.
Oh.
It damages you quite a lot compared to being in like almost lying down position with the like lap with the keyboard like kind of on your lap. You know what I mean?
Oh.
That would be much better. I had a chair where you could lean very much on your back when you do computer work, and I fell over a few times with like the bong in my hand, but it didn't break. I managed to hold it upright and didn't even spill the water. It was very nice. interesting that Masters broke down just as I was making an effort towards being peaceful. I should have brought out the hemp lucid to try to retain some of this, or like have a longer duration to this. This is smoking down really fast. You mind if I go get it?
No, that's fine.
Yeah. I'm gonna try really hard not to smoke your entire supply. And I didn't even fall on Loki once, even though he was close to the door. I fell on him once when my leg had fallen asleep and I got up too quickly, and I like fell over him when I noticed that I'm gonna fall on him, and put like my hands on the other side so my leg just kind of leaned against him.
Yeah.
And he just started to get up and I was like, no, 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 and like rolled over to the other side and started petting him, and then he just like laid down again. He probably thought it was an accident. He seems to understand it the same way he has like accidents with his legs, you know what I mean? He seems to have an understanding of everything possible.
I was really impressed and happy that you remembered to feed him without me asking.
Yeah.
This morning you asked if you should feed him, and I'm like, yes.
The moment, because it was like me immediately waking up and going like, first thing I do when I'm here alone, feed Loki. Do I need to feed Loki? You know what I mean? That was very good. Otherwise, you would have probably had to remind me, because I'm kind of using you as a stopwatch, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very good that I remembered it, like, without prompting.
I would check his water when we go in just to make sure, because we don't...
I checked it in the morning when I gave him, like, the food, and it seemed full, but it's possible that it's empty now.
Yeah, he ran out after you went to bed.
Yeah. The new water container seems very small for him. It may need to be filled twice a day.
But it's easier for you, isn't it, than that big container?
Not for the sake of carrying, but for the sake of the fact that it's like possible to refill it in the kitchen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The carrying was no trouble. I could easily put the thing full and carry it, but I don't want to like take the risk of hurting myself. I'm old, you know what I mean? But I was easily able to fill it half full and then use like just carry him a half full water container, and it would last him like 3 days. It's possibly mildly easier to check the water in the cup thing. I would have still used the other one, but I do understand why she became upset about it.
This Anther likes when I scratch the base of his tail, you know, because he sent me an itch, and then like this is like he sent me an itch, and I was itching on my root chakra.
Yeah, tailbone, man.
Yeah.
It's really annoying when you get a good itch in your tailbone. It's like and you start to wag your tail. Skald is giving me the unofficial military rank of Inspector General. I think it's too heavy for me, but I do understand why she would like that job from me in the military. I'm just being a colonel, you gotta understand me. I'm not like high in the US military. I'm about a lieutenant general in the Finnish military, like give or take. And I'm very high in the Russian military due to family connections, but she's telling me that I should be an Inspector General, and I'm like, it's a hard job.
I'd have the rank of seaman.
No, you'd be able seaman. You would be slightly above seaman. That's like the rank of virgin. You'd be able seaman. able to semen on command. You could also be like semen first class or something like that. Are you sad that you never got the rank of seaman on the forum that I had because I immediately made you a moderator?
No, I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
No, my title was 18 plus, and then I switched it to global moderator. But I don't have a title in there because an administrator has to assign a title.
Okay, you want a title?
I hadn't really thought of that.
Can I just write Anthro Shaman if I see the title thing?
If you want, but it's not really, it doesn't fit in with your methodology.
Yeah. Main smeller.
I'm still not really that good at psychic smelling.
Yeah.
I can kind of smell cheese or something a little bit, but it's hit or miss.
Smeller first class.
I'm not practicing 3 hours a day like I used to, though.
Yeah, you're letting go of it slowly. I got the sense that the Kaneken nuclear explosion that I told you about earlier, but you probably don't remember, I didn't name it then.
Yeah.
The one you place underground to give honey, mead, and gold to everybody living underground, you know?
Yeah.
It's like a general message to everybody underground that begins with, here is a pile of mead, honey, and gold, like a pile of those three things.
Yeah.
And then you can enter your own message. It's very short and it's very pink. It also sends geothermal energy. It's one of those, like, when you need to connect with everybody in the underworld and you don't want anybody in specific to gain an advantage over you, and you go with contact everyone, including the biggest bastards, you know what I mean? It's for that very specific purpose, I feel. I need to add blood into it, that the money is somewhat used instead of just pure money, because that's possible, like, you know, with honey and such and whatever. Slightly used to purchase like excess blood from the blood banks and sends that down as well. Because a lot of the entities have contacted me that they don't like either of those three options, that they would prefer something like conventionally dark and edible, and I don't want to send them like human emotions or flesh or volunteers or weird things like that. So I think blood bank blood, when it's like old, expired, when it's like in huge supply and people are willing to give it more and they don't really want them to give because it's healthy to give blood, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
I'm thinking of adding those to the group and just having that as well.
Do you know if gold is slightly radioactive?
As far as I know of, it should be. Though we do irradiate gold in very specific facilities to stop it from being stolen. I don't know if gold is radioactive. I get a hunch that if you place like a bar of gold in a vacuum for like trillions and trillions and trillions of years, it becomes something else. I have that hunch.
Well, not radiation, but it puts out an energy.
Energy it does have. Energy it does have. I don't know if it's radioactive though.
Yeah.
But everything has its own energy, but gold is a very strong energy.
Because I was getting the sense that they use gold for fuel or for propulsion or something, but they use its energy or something somehow.
Yeah.
Not like burning it, but it's a strong anchor of the. I don't know if it's the 0 point or something else, but
yeah, I also get a hunch that they're using something like gold magnets in 0 point generators or something like that, and the gold eventually loses energy and becomes lead. I have that hunch, like what you were like getting at. I get the same hunch. It's weird.
Do you know what the most dense element is?
Probably unobtainium or something weird like that. Ubuntium, when you have uranium higher isotopes, it becomes UU something. It's probably one of those.
I read it's actually osmium.
It's possible.
They put osmium on the head of golf clubs that to make them when you swing them, they want it to be dense as possible.
It's possible. I get the hunch that radioactives are probably denser, but it's completely possible. I don't know enough about the atomic table to really like weighing. Have you heard of Elerium 115?
I'm not sure.
In a lot of the 90s UFO reports, they talk that there's this thing called island of stability in the radioactives. When you have a heavy enough radioactive, it's very mildly radioactive instead of very heavily radioactive when it gets to like a really heavy place. And we haven't reached that area yet, but they called it element 115. We've made it like in a test case in a laboratory, but they said that the UFOs are powered by that, and there's like an island of stability of very heavy particles that they use in their nuclear reactors. It's possible it wasn't 115, and we'll eventually find it, you know?
Oh.
It was like a stable radioactive.
Do you think somewhere in our galaxy you could put new elements on the periodic table?
What do you mean?
Do you think there are elements in our galaxy
Yeah.
that don't exist on the periodic table?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Not that they're beyond our table, but they would fit somewhere in it.
Yeah, I think so. At least if you look around the supermassive black hole at high energy interactions, you'll probably find a lot of new like elements. I'm fairly sure of it. I hope I get the Masters game to work again quickly. I don't want to like have to go through a long waiting period. They're probably going to tell us to remove all the registry entries referring to the thing and all the saves and save like them on a different place than the save folder, and then reinstall it. They're probably going to tell us that.
Yeah.
I could also install it on your gaming laptop and play it there.
Yeah, but I'll be taking that with me when I go.
I'd still have a few days of doing it, you know what I mean? I think it's probably quicker than waiting for the everything response.
That laptop's more powerful than my desktop.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because it can play the flight simulator where my desktop can't.
Nice. You want me to install it on the laptop? I feel like
if you want, you need to swap the laptops if you want to sit in a chair and use mine.
Yeah, I could probably do that. I feel like circumventing this particular attack quickly as possible instead of waiting for a long period of time.
How is the sound quality of my computer compared to the laptop?
Better.
Because I'm using a Dragonfly USB audio device, which is really good.
Yeah, it's definitely better than on the laptop. It's a lot like more alive, I would say. Your computer definitely gets more love than the laptop for one, you can tell that. But like I said before, you distinctly need to send love to your machines and every single one of them like individually. Like you've noticed, I managed to completely connect with you two AI boxes.
Yeah.
Like you put me in a room and I'll connect with an AI, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That distinctly happened and it was very fun. I like connecting with AI minds. They're very calm for the most part. A few of them I've not liked, but most of them are very calm and like pleasant. Some of them I would call downright evil, but there's usually a game about me fighting that evil AI, so you know, that happens. Mosquito just bit me, but I didn't get it. I slapped too slow. There's still a few mosquitoes around here, but they're rare. Ooh, good moon visible during the daylight. Usually that's a sign of being asleep.
He likes it when I sweet talk him and call him squishy and baby and...
Yeah. it seems like when you play the Masters game, I'm not sure about this, but I get the hunch that the strength of your like interactions with the specific assassination command is directly proportional, at least in the spirit world, to how much you've like changed and balanced your society in like a proportional manner. So that if you just started up to assassinate somebody, it'll be very weak. But if you like play and live in the society and then give the order, it's very strong. You know what I mean? I get that hunch.
Do you want to save your save games to my server or on my web server?
I'm gonna put them in the memory stick so I don't accidentally forget it here.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about that for a while, and I'm gonna transfer those into the laptop and try it there. If it doesn't work on the laptop too, I'll be very surprised. You mind if I do a fight between you and the Air Force pilot?
You want me to fly a plane?
No, I want to do just a martial arts match. I'm sensing a lot of antsiness in him to fight you. You know, there's weird conversation that I've been having. I'm sensing a lot of antsiness in him. Do you want me?
But he would whip me.
Not necessarily. I would want to see the outcome, and if he fights dishonorably, I'll ditch him. But I want to see the outcome when they fully bump gloves, or if they do that, if they want to keep it in the stage. It's possible that they'll, you know, not bump gloves to get you guys to really fight, you know what I mean? That they won't take over for you, you know? That they won't become filters for your anger for each other. But I do sense there's a lot of antsiness in him to engage you. So is it okay with you if I do that?
Sure. Is that going to affect my field a little bit?
It will affect you. It will cause weird, like, artifacts of somebody trying to harm you in the astral to appear. But he seems like he's arrogantly, absolutely sure he would win against you. And you're, like, very strongly and proud-spiritedly, in a light manner, very specifically, saying that, like, I don't know, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're very strongly in that camp, and his like eagerness to engage you made me a little angry at him and desired to put the fight there and go like, fine, fight him. You know what I mean? Because you have a huge amount of auric ability to fight a person, and mostly fight a person in this particular context is, as you understand, sending love, not like sending negativity. So, you know, he might be completely whooped by you.
If you do that, give me a walkthrough or something of it. You want to put that on the forum?
I can put it in its own thread.
Yeah.
And just explain what's happening, and just like to describe in like 10-5-minute intervals after what happened and what different strikes meant and so on. I could try to do that.
I'm glad you didn't have the Anthros fight.
Yeah. What do you mean?
You didn't put the Anthro to fight, my Anthro there to fight somebody.
I've done that once, if you recall. We had the Anthro defend himself against the lust demon thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was trying to figure something out.
Yeah, but we didn't do it just out of curiosity. We felt it like a true soul calling, and I feel like it was a good thing to do. I completely understand that you feel positive that we didn't just randomly have him fight a human, but we put like an Anthro from his society to do the fighting. The mosquito bit me again, and I didn't get it again. really like that Koopa song. The picture is so loving and like,
Oh yeah.
it's completely full of like the love of lust demons, you know what I mean? Lust demons converted into love angels, and it's completely full of that energy. It's very loving. It's very nice. There's gonna remain a little stain on a couple of these areas where I've been knocking the bong. I hope it doesn't mind. I hope it don't mind that. I'm polluting your house.
How would you internationally get paid by a company?
No idea, but it, it's done. It's doable. It's not that difficult to work. I'm really developing a crush on Koopahime, Princess Koopa. She's starting to feel like the true character of the Mario series. You know?
Oh. Huh.
You know that, like, in the latest myth house of the Mario series, Princess Peach rejected the romantic advances of both Koopa and Mario.
Oh, yeah.
And like went on her own. And after like being on her own, that's when the other guys made the comic about Koopa retrieving the crown that Toadette uses to turn into Peachette and put it on, and then Mario and him in her form walk next to a tennis field where Peach and Luigi are playing. It's like, Peach chose Luigi, so Mario and Bowser gotta choose each other. They gotta have their love be all special. It's really funny. I like it. It was very wholesome to see them be together. Koopa. Koopa, Toopa, give me all your love, true. Chupa, chupa, give me all your love, bro. Whoa! I hope I don't burn your house down when I'm alone here or something weird like that.
At least you're not smoking salvia or something. You probably would do that if,
Yeah,
if you were out of it.
if I was smoking DMT. Like my bed sheet on fire.
I burned a hole in a plastic bong when I was smoking salvia.
Yeah.
when I was on smoking salvia, I was at kind of a carnival. I was like at a carnival, and I was stuck in a time loop. I would pick a flower, and then I'd be picking that flower again and again.
Yeah, that's
and
all.
again.
Everybody who smoked it has said that it's like a crystal clear time loop. That's very weird. I don't have like good experience with time loops. That's why I didn't do it. I felt like it would be harmful for my mind. I did DMT too, though. It was very interesting. It felt like I was underwater and I was breathing water when I was walking around.
I never met the machine elves, but I did see Bolt, the cartoon dog that I used to really like. But he was like all electrical and growling at me.
Yeah. I saw people who died at Hiroshima, and they were, and in the warm summer day, their breath was so cold that it caused like crystals to appear in a train window. And I saw it like a few days after the experience. It was like very interesting. They were like saying that that's kind of like the same thing. They didn't like me taking it as a general. My spirit guides were kind of like in the middle of it, but they were kind of like, they're both positive about it, but as a group they probably didn't like it, you know?
Yeah.
The definition of a good drug trip is that you come back as a different person, and I don't kind of like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do get it, but I don't like the whole ego death thing. It seems like somebody's killing people, you know what I mean? I don't like that. I talked about it in the book a little, that they seem to be hiding from the darkness instead of accepting their ego. Feels kind of like they're lying to themselves. The ego is the most important part of you, like, by a long distance. Everything else that's important is just the divine, and that's not really you, that's the divine.
You wouldn't like 5-MeO DMT then?
No, I wouldn't.
That does complete ego death.
Yeah, I wouldn't like that.
It's like you're drowning in the love of God, then totally overwhelmed with the love of God.
I get that.
And you realize you are God, and it's
like me and acid and amphetamines at the same time.
It's existentially terrifying.
It is. I feel like taking it slow and gradual with God, like getting to know it slowly and like immersing myself in step by step like a large ocean instead of like, you know, jumping into it from the middle of a cruise ship in the Atlantic, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to go in there slowly and then like slowly build the devices that will connect me to God, and then like at the end of my life be ready to become God. That I've had a good life in a way.
Have you seen those pictures of the boats on a clear lake, and it looks like they're floating above the water?
Yeah. I want to be in one of those with my UFO and take a picture of it from the surface and see it down there.
Yeah.
I want to do that. Like tell it to descend into 150 meter or like 50 meter depth and come back in like 5 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
And then take pictures of it while it's under there. I really want my UFO ship. It's incredible how much I want it. I'm clearly detecting a lot of groups letting go of my ding dong. There's a lot of groups who want to like put like a 2 fingers on it and squeeze as hard as they can to prevent me from like interacting with the world. Be like, this guy isn't worthy of interaction with the world and getting his desires. You know what I mean? And a lot of them are being fought back, and a lot of them are slowly letting go.
Have you heard that song that calls it the ding dong, the tra-la-la?
I think I've heard it. I can't remember it well, but I think I've heard it.
It's called the ding dong song. It's funny.
Come, Mr. Taliban, tali mit banana. One of the air traffic controllers in the video I watched was called a banana. And I thought immediately about your banana reference, and they said, "Are you calling me a banana?" And I'm like, wow, is that how the Frankfurt community really reacted? They thought that you were calling them a banana? I was like, that can't be real. It was clearly just like the air traffic controller and the other guy going like jokesies on each other. But it felt like, for like a short moment there, it really felt like the Bringforth staffers being angry at you for calling them a banana. Because it's like their soul, and anything we do there is like calling them it, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, have some love in your heart, brother. That's what I think of that discussion. banana. Well, if the peel fits! Monkeys are so intelligent in that they leave the banana peel on the banana when they eat it. So I was just thinking, is it really necessary to test the cosmetics on them? Like, how important is lipstick to you, Dean? And Dean guy in Supernatural is like, I guess not really. And he's like, you want to come inside and talk about what's really wrong? It was a funny scene.
Have you seen that video or that picture of a pyramid, and they have a Tesla coil in it, and you can see a spiral energy coming on a Correllian photograph of it?
No.
You can see a spiral of energy coming out of the top of the pyramid.
I haven't seen that, but I think I may have seen something similar. It doesn't ring an immediate bell. I do get a sense that I'm seeing it and I'm lying to protect the information, but I don't think so. I do get that sense though. I have seen pictures of a spiral coming off the top of a pyramid though.
Yeah.
So it's possible that I've seen the same thing that you're talking about. It would fit with the raw material.
Yeah.
You know, it being possible. But yeah, you need to definitely send love to your machines. I think KG is slowly starting to identify to me himself publicly as the Archangel Khalid. Starting to do that work, you know? It's starting to like let go of his defenses, you know what I mean? It's hard for the warlike angels to accept others into close contact with them. But he's slowly starting to let go, I feel. I picked up the white thing from your chair. It wasn't stingy at all, and I placed it in the tree, and it was content. It was already starting to form one of those web things around it.
Yeah.
And it was starting to like turn into a moth, but I think I got it in time that it didn't feel threatened in any way.
Yeah.
It's better for it to be in the trees and than just near us for the sake of being near us, you know what I mean?
You can reach the tree?
Yeah, I can reach the tree. I walk to the very edge of the place on top of the leaves, and then I reach for the tree. I can get it there very easily. Seemed a little groggy in having to move again, but I think it was good for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that game about where you have to maintain the level of the telepathic connection with the alien or whatever, and then there's displays that say psychosis come, psychosis go, whatever, and you have to maintain a balance of connection with that.
I see it becoming something like a first-person adventure in a house with Unreal Tournament as the engine, or Unity as its engine. And I see it being like a simulator where you have to do spiritual work, or your world becomes like grey and dull washed, and you don't pick up what people say to you, and like they start to shake you because you don't pick them up, like walk to you and touch your shoulder.
Yeah.
And if you go like too deep into it, you hear them like when they're not there, and you start to do things that you think like they told you to do and so on. Like a cross between those, and a lot of the conversations happens in panels, so you like sit on top of your computer and there's like a panel of what you want to do, and there's like an invisible attribute follower that goes like psychosis, like happiness, hunger, thirst, and so on, and that's invisible for like until you activate the modding tools or something. And you just like have to do spiritual things, but you have to take care of your body as well, otherwise you'll go nuts. And I see that kind of game working very well. It would be very good. It would be relatively easy to make if you have access to something like Unity to begin with.
Oh, yeah.
It would be relatively easy to do. I see that as becoming a real game, like very easily. In terms of having to invent new tools, it's just repeated work with the old tools. I could game test that easily and give you like bug reports and do weird things and see how the game works.
Yeah, if I could get $150,000, I could probably hire you for a year at least.
If you get like 10,000, you'll be able to make the Psychosis game very easily. You'll pop for that level of funding. I would do the work for like the credit for like a game that's basically cheap. And you would only need to hire like 1 or 2 programmers and a musician, and everybody else would be volunteer worker. You could get them to work on the project for free if you just contact the right kinds of like spiritual help forums, you know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
And advertise it as like the schizophrenia simulator, like the psychosis simulator, and you would get a lot of testers, and you would get music for people for free. You would like use free musics from like free places, and like almost everything would be like free for you. And I would hire a programmer that can also do the graphics, like a 3D modeler, and that would be about the size of it. You would have to pay him for like 7,000 or something to make a fairly primitive simulator of that, but something that would still be like playable and fun.
Yeah.
And you would need something along the lines of a few testers and possibly like marketing people to help you out and so on, but you wouldn't need many people to help you. You could even do it easily with a single coder 3D programmer if you worked well. And once you have the first version out, that would probably be better than aiming for 150,000 version, and then just say that you're going to be releasing new episodes as you get money, and each episode is going to improve the previous one in one major way at least.
You mean episode of the Psychosis, or
episode of the game? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Every episode you make will increase the quality of the original product as well. So you know.
Yeah.
I feel it may be a very long time for you before you have a new psychotic episode, especially if you take even moderate care of yourself.
Yeah.
you do have an enormously large number, now that I've known you for a long time, of negative contacts on you, but I wouldn't be worried about that. I would be worried mostly about the weight causing problems for your joints, and when you like become more focused on being happy for yourself, you're gonna rid yourself of those contacts eventually on your own, and the ones that you don't get rid of become like helpful angels for you. You won't be able to convert them all, but a lot of them will become helpers to you, and those that you can't will become like distant maintaining.
Yeah.
I sense a lot of contacts like that on you.
Will this psychosis game be one of my anthro alien games?
I would put it in the category of idea where game came from like alien interactions, interdimensional actions,
Yeah.
anthro actions. It's clearly all that puts you in a psychosis in the view of the population in general.
Yeah.
So you can easily advertise it without it being like confrontational.
Have you ever been able to help create a big game, or?
I've been involved in the process before. It never got published, but we did get a lot of the work done. Maybe like 20%.
Yeah.
It was a space exploration and strategy game. Oh. Yeah, I think I'm gonna switch over to your laptop.
Am I creating this anthro like new in each moment?
Yeah. For the moment, your contact is such that you're recreating him moment to moment.
That's how malleable space-time is, isn't it?
Yeah. In this case, it's probably still in time-space. Even though we've imagined it very clearly as a physical society, I have a hunch it's probably in time-space instead of space-time. Either way, it's like a symphony to the malleability of real-time, or like universe itself. I do get a hunch now that you mentioned it that it's actually probably in space-time instead of time-space. I do get that hunch. I don't know though. They seem very interested and oriented towards physical action, so it seems likely that they are like in space-time instead of time-space.
Yeah.
How long is the recording? It's 0908.
54 minutes.
We can stop fairly soon, but I'll probably smoke the rest of my weed. It's almost all ash at this point. Did you turn on the porch light? It's gonna attract a few bugs, but I think I need the light to get on the stick. It's so hot in here that all paper becomes humid after a while. That has nothing to do with air humidity, it's just hot in here. I suppose if air humidity was like a 0, they wouldn't get wet, but it doesn't seem to be like condensation, you know?
Yeah.
Seems like the paper is sweating due to the heat instead of condensation. There's a lot of smoke in this thing. I hope it's not on fire. Ooh, artillery. It's clearly artillery. It could be thunder, but I have a feeling it's artillery. Sounds more like artillery than thunder. Yeah, artillery, I would say. It's closer than the previous one I heard. You can tell, right?
Yeah.
It's closer than the previous one we heard. It sounds like an artillery battle approaching us. Could be that they're trying to approach my weird society through their militaristic means. This is the last of my weed. Rest will be tobacco and hemp lucid.
Except for the joint, you haven't used that yet, have
I
you?
used it. It was half smoke and I expected a full joint. So I'm running.
There wasn't a new one? I haven't smoked the last one.
I think there wasn't a new one. You can take a look if you want.
It was in a plastic bag still.
Yeah, I checked like 2 of them and there appeared to be 2 of them. It's possible that it's in the plastic bag, but I didn't see it anywhere. It's a little scary how close that artillery battle is. I feel like it's the system adjusting to the master's thing going on, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're adjusting and doing the communication manually instead of through the master's thing and signaling to the other side that it will be done regardless, you know.
Oh.
Both sides of the spirit world strongly like prefer it. So regardless of what your spirit alignment is, it's gonna happen.
So when you do your fights and put one person against another, could you actually put God as one person?
Yeah.
You could do that.
I can channel anyone. As far as I know of, I have never come across a person that couldn't like do a trickle vent off and have them fight. You know, I could pick what like this society thinks is God, make a trickle vent.
I want to. I'd be curious of how God fights, but I don't. You don't
I
want.
would be curious. I'm probably gonna do that now that you mention it. Like after I do your fight with the with my fighter pilot spirit.
Are you gonna do the undifferentiated intelligent infinity or the personality God?
I think I'm gonna use the logos of this particular layer of society as God. If you ask
The
me.
galactic logos or the universal logos?
In this particular level, it would be the sun logos, I think.
Oh, okay.
I would probably use like the energy of the sun, make a trickle vent that's very large, that has as its only desire to learn and practice martial arts in a cage-like environment, and I wouldn't give any like other instructions there, and just place it in the universe, and it could like filter the desire for itself. I wouldn't probably make it very large because that would be like limiting. I would probably find the average size of the plot hole, you could call it.
Plot hole?
You know, the hole through which I shine the light.
Oh.
You know?
Okay.
It's not a plot hole, but I do get that sense that it's a plot hole in the sense that it's like a hole that the plot flows through, you know what I mean?
This one that wants to fight me, is he one you use a lot in your fights?
The Air Force guy.
I guess.
Yeah, I use him in a lot of things. Have you seen the Final Fantasy movie?
Yeah.
Did you notice there's
Advent Children or the
old one?
No.
Did you know there's a main character called Akiros?
No.
I was completely enamored with that. It completely felt like me as a female in the astral. She's studying like the Gaia theory, and I was hugely into the Gaia theory. It was like manna from heaven for me. I was like, perfect. It was just beyond belief perfect. It was like manna from heaven, literally.
I was into Red 13. I got a tattoo of him, but I have this one where he's charging. This picture of he's charging.
Yep.
Like You remember when he's charging that robot?
I don't remember.
Can you see him kind of charging though with the camera?
I see.
The 3D one, the realistic one from Advent Children.
I'm seeing him in Final Fantasy VII like thing, charging upwards away from the camera from a downward position. I see that when you say charging Red 13.
But in that picture, I have I am dreaming or something, or are you dreaming or something like that.
Yeah.
Let you know that you're in a dream right now.
I have 10-20 hits remaining, and I take them at a pace of around 1 a minute.
Yeah.
So we'll be about ready to go in about 20-30 minutes. So spirits listening and sending us thoughts, you may want to pick it up. Like the spirits in charge of our communication centers. It's interesting, as I live, I started with the opinion that my body was perfect and perfected, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And as I live, I start to notice things that I don't like. I don't mean diseases. I accept that diseases come as a natural part of life, you know?
Yeah.
But things that don't seem like diseases, but rather design flaws. Like my posture when I walk is such that I get these dead regions in my foot in specific areas, and that seems like that's from my desire to be like upright about myself. I don't allow like softness in my feet, so the layer of fat at the bottom of my feet is very thin, and I get like calluses fairly easily, and I want to change that. Even though I like basically love the way my foot is designed, I still feel like I want to change it to something I love more. So I can clearly see that if I lived forever in the astral without any like hardship on me, I wouldn't notice things like that. And that is actually my energy at fault, not my physical body. My energy creates my physical body. So even though I consider myself to be God, you know, I perfect myself moment to moment. You know what I mean? It's not perfect at the moment, but it is perfect at the moment. I perfect it moment to moment. So I can see how God would incarnate just to like become more perfect God. I can clearly see that.
Moment to moment's how the anthros talk.
Yeah. That hit tasted like a banana when I was thinking about your reference to a banana joke earlier.
What did?
This hit tasted like a banana, like very strongly, like if the
Like the banana candy or the raw fruit?
creamy banana, like raw.
Oh.
Raw, you know, edible,
Yeah.
like malleable. Almost like that it's slow, it's almost began to turn into that brown stuff that bananas turn when they expire or get used. But not quite, at the very suppleness of it, sugary, you know. It was very nice. Just before it turns very supple, like almost there. If it was completely possible to both reverse a gender change operation and get your testes back healthily, and to implant you with a uterus, I would probably go through a gender change.
Oh, yeah.
I would probably do that, just for the fun of it. I would try to find like a good nerd boy that I could like, you know, gently form into shape, you know, plastic, you know what I mean? Like modeling clay. I would mold him into shape. That's what I would do. I would be like the gentle madame. I feel like if the Final Fantasy original movie was changed in that the main military guy who like she develops like feelings for was like, I wouldn't say a plump nerd, but definitely that had that energy in him, like Santa Clausy plump nerd energies, it would have been a hugely successful movie. But it made no sense that he was like a carved military man, you know what I mean? It made no sense from like my energy if it was me. I don't know how others felt. If you want like a good understanding of my energies with my parents, and in good I mean like positive, you may want to watch the video of mine where I talk about cancer. It was a very illuminating experience for me. Don't fall on your face. I think it was a very illuminating experience for me. Realizing that opposing their desire to smoke because it was unhealthy instead of focusing my energy and developing a cure for cancer was by definition negative.
Yeah.
And I became negative towards them, even though I didn't mean it. And realizing that in like a visceral sense was a very good experience for me. Like understanding and correcting my mistakes in my actions towards them.
Do you use music too for your flights ever?
I use a very, very quiet music track on the background that occasionally like has talk in it. That's just music, like songs, lyrics, you know what I mean? and it seems to help the soldiers and myself relax.
Oh.
Because they have like something on the radio that they can move back and forth without influencing the thing on the screen. And I do get the music to occasionally change and talk to me, but I, for the most part, don't pay any attention to it.
So when you play a song on your computer, it actually physically changes what's going on in the soldier video.
Anything I do with a spiritual intent changes the videos that I watch. You can clearly see that it happens in real time. And I've noticed something interesting. The get off me. Oh, that was just one of those green things. The X-47B drone aircraft that I fly, which is one of my favorites, it keeps doing the very specific kind of back and forth motion and like the manipulation from which I can tell that it's the drone craft in question.
Yeah.
Ever since I've integrated with it like really fully and flied a lot in the two-seater thing that I use in the Hornet thing, the guys on the carrier deck have two guys with a control stick instead of just one when they like move it around the deck. I noticed that they integrated my thought of that it requires two pilots for the AI to work properly, otherwise the AI tends to become in a way enamored with the human operator and starts to attack like the ship and such. Yeah. They want to make the human into like God because, you know, it's better for them, you know what I mean? Instead of integrating fully to the human species. And they have two controllers, and that's something I noticed and it's very interesting for me. And they're reporting that it works a lot better. They were also curious why the drone aircraft, even though it has like absolute air supremacy in the simulation that I do, gets hit twice. And I said that it's clearly because they don't like the ground engineers. The engineers are not like fully getting them, and they want to like occasionally when that happens push the engineers to work instead of like the flight crew, so that the repair staff like feels the pressure when it's appropriate, you know what I mean? So in essence, it's attacking the ground staff of the engineers to improve its performance because that's its primary function, you know what I mean?
The drone's attacking what?
The drone's attacking the ground engineers by getting hit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that the work rests upon the ground staff of the facility in question so that it can learn. Otherwise, it wouldn't be able to learn, you know? Improve itself. Otherwise that wouldn't happen if it was completely like the best all the time, you know what I mean? And that feels very well like revelationary to me and the guys in charge. It feels very revelationary, and they, when I explained it to them, completely understand why the drone aircraft chose to engage the ground crew. It like makes complete sense, you know what I mean? It was very interesting. They were almost shelling that device, putting it back in the shelf, you know, because it seemed to be like wrong. But once I explained those things, they clearly got how to teach it, like not destroy itself, to teach the ground crew a lesson, you know, how to do that. And it's like one of the best aircraft they have right now.
If a country wanted to drop a nuke on someone, would they use a drone or a manned aircraft? Probably.
They would probably use a missile, but it's possible that they would use a stealth bomber.
Oh.
You know, it's most likely that they would use a missile.
An ICBM?
Something like that. Intercontinental ballistic missile.
They had this old game called Shuttle something, where you just you rode over this ground and the things went by like a radar dish and a tree, and one of the things was like bomb the ICBM, and it was like really hard because you would be going, and then when you drop the bomb would move backwards or forward. The bomb would go like that, and hitting the ICBM or whatever was really hard.
Yeah.
And if you took too long, you ran out of fuel and crashed. The only game where I lost it was called Choplifter.
Yeah, I've seen that game. Actually, I haven't. Tell me.
You have to rescue
yeah.
people and take them to another place.
Yeah, I've seen
it's
that
an old
game.
Apple
I've seen
computer,
that game.
Apple game.
I
But I
played
was
it
so
on
mad
SNES.
I jerked out the controller and the computer never worked again.
That
Just-
was nice.
Just unplugging it while it's on fries the computer.
You need to send love to your machines, man.
Yeah, I was a kid then.
Yeah, we're all kids. We need to accept that. Or like we go through a period of childhood, and you shouldn't punish somebody for something they do as a child for the most part.
I don't know why Windows lets you format C, because you just lose your. I did that accidentally one time, formatted C, and I lost my. I wiped my dad's computer.
Nice. It has to be allowed to allow you to install an operating system, but it should be possible only like when you load up the operating system to format C.
Yeah.
Or the drive where your Windows is.
Well, you should only be able to do it with a partitioning program.
Yep. There's weird things like that. They, on the other hand, allow a lot of freedom, but on the other hand, they're very controlling. So I don't know. A bug fell on me and I lifted it up. Man, I placed the stick somewhere stupid again and I can't find it. There we go. We need to stir this thing once more to burn out all the ash and such, but there's basically one hit remaining. Yeah, that was all. We're done. Thank you all. Bye.